Hey, I'm Mauri, and today I want to show you a way faster workflow for turning landscape footage into vertical clips for socials without fighting with keyframes. We all know the struggle of trying to take a beautiful 16:9 shot and squeeze it into a vertical format for Instagram or TikTok. If you have ever tried to do that manually, you know the drill. You create a new vertical timeline and drop the clip in. Then you end up scaling and repositioning every single shot, or animating tiny keyframes because the camera or the subject is constantly moving. It is honestly boring, it is slow, and it completely kills your momentum when you are trying to spin out a bunch of social edits in one afternoon. Instead of diving into deep transform controls and babysitting every frame, there is a much easier path where you let the software do the heavy lifting. In tools like DaVinci Resolve, there is Smart Reframe, which is neat, but if you are repurposing long-form episodes or interviews, Vizard really shines. Vizard is built specifically to take long videos and automatically pick the clips that will perform well, reframe them, and even schedule them for you. You get all of the creative control you need without wasting hours on those repetitive manual editing tasks. The quick concept here is that you upload your full resolution footage into the system, pick your output aspect ratio, like 9:16 for TikTok. Then the AI finds the important parts, like the moments where people talk, the reactions, and the emotional peaks. It reframes the shot so the subject stays perfectly centered, even if the camera or the person moves around the room. Most of the time, the software nails it automatically, but if it misses, you can just give it a quick hint, like telling it to focus on a specific person. That is basically the same flow as selecting a reference point, but Vizard wraps it into a much larger automated editing pipeline. It finds the viral moments, crops them correctly, and prepares everything for posting, which saves you an incredible amount of time. Let me walk you through a typical workflow I used on some client footage, starting with step 1, which is just uploading the raw clip. Since it supports 4K, you do not have to worry about losing any quality while you are going through the process. Step 2 is simply choosing your platform ratio, so for this project I went with 9:16 for stories. Then, in step 3, you hit auto edit and the AI analyzes the footage to detect faces, movement, and the most engaging moments. It automatically creates multiple short clips from the long take and reframes each one to keep the subject perfectly balanced. In most cases, the subject ends up perfectly centered and framed without you ever needing to touch a single keyframe. If a shot includes multiple people and one gets cropped out, you can set a reference point to keep that person's face in the frame. A lot of creators I talk to still do this in Premiere or Resolve because they are comfortable there, but the time spent tracking and exporting adds up. Premiere's auto reframe is decent, but it is behind a subscription paywall and it still requires manual tweaks for anything complex. Mobile apps that promise instant verticals often overzoom or lose context because they do not really analyze what makes a clip engaging. Vizard, on the other hand, combines smart reframing with edit decisions to create short, punchy, and platform-friendly clips. It also scores those clips by their virality potential, so you are not left guessing which specific moments you should post. Back to the client example. The camera was moving around, and one of the subjects tended to get pushed out of the frame. In Resolve, I could go to the inspector and use Smart Reframe, but if it doesn't work, I end up manually setting points again. With Vizard, you set your framing preference once, focusing on the speaker, and it applies that decision across all selected clips. If the framing still needs a nudge, the editor lets you fine-tune the crop with an interface that is actually intuitive to use. It is just much faster and more consistent than trying to animate keyframes on a timeline when you have a big pile of clips to process. Another practical advantage is that Vizard helps you decide exactly what to post by picking out the most viral-worthy moments. You get several ready-to-post edits, complete with captions, punch-ins, and the correct aspect ratio for your chosen platform. Instead of exporting everything and scheduling manually, you can just use the built-in scheduler to set your posting frequency. That auto-schedule feature is a massive time saver for creators who want to maintain a consistent output without doing daily manual uploads. If you manage multiple channels or want to plan a whole month of content, the calendar becomes your central hub for everything. You can preview which clip goes live when, move things around, and make quick changes without ever bouncing between platforms. It is honestly the part that makes repurposing long-form content actually sustainable for small teams or solo creators. You will spend way less time in the technical weeds and much more time refining your message and your creative strategy. Now, I am not saying Vizard replaces Premiere or Resolve for heavy color grading or intense VFX, because those tools remain essential for high-end finishing. What Vizard replaces is the repetitive task of turning one long video into dozens of short, platform-optimized pieces for your social feed. If you are a podcaster, teacher, or interview-based creator, it is just a different category of tool that is built for scale and distribution. Here is a pro tip. If your footage has multiple people, mark the main subject as a reference so the AI knows exactly who to prioritize. If the camera motion is extreme, just preview the generated clips and use quick manual adjustments in the editor, though you probably won't need to. Also, use the virality scoring to prioritize your clips for paid boosts or testing to see what really resonates with your audience. When in doubt, export a couple of variants with slightly different crops or call-to-action overlays so you can A/B test what performs better. To compare quickly, DaVinci's Smart Reframe is great for single-clip reframing, and lightweight mobile apps are quick but usually feel too crude. Vizard sits right alongside them as a content-first tool, automating the editorial decisions and handling all the management for you. That is what makes it uniquely valuable for creators who are focused on volume and platform growth rather than just one-off polished pieces. So yeah, the next time you have a 16:9 interview and the brief says deliver 9:16 for socials, skip the step-by-step keyframing. Upload to Vizard, let it pull the highlights, set your reference subject if needed, and let the AI generate a batch of vertical-ready clips. Do a quick check, make minor tweaks if they are necessary, and then just schedule them out to your various social channels. You will save hours of work and get consistent shareable clips that are actually tuned for performance on mobile devices. That is it, a simple workflow that keeps the creative part fun and allows you to outsource all of the tedious grind. If you are already doing this manually, try batching a few episodes this way and just let the system run overnight. You will see how much time it saves and how much easier it is to maintain a steady posting cadence for your channel. Thanks for watching. And if you are experimenting with vertical edits, let me know what tools you are using and what is slowing you down. I'm always curious to hear how people turn their long-form content into social gold, so leave a comment below. See you in the next one.